Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome to a different sort of video. So I figured since we're waiting for franchise mode to be fixed, I would take a look back at my NHL 17 because I do have my first ever roster build that I was doing on here. So I might as well show you guys some of it, even though you've probably already seen those videos, even though they're a few years old, as well as we could take a look at stuff like my hut team and whatnot. And yeah, just some random stuff in this game just for a little video to take back a little bit of a memory thing. So this game is probably going to feel a lot slower when I go through the menus, I would assume, because they've worked on the speed of the menus a lot since NHL 17 days. But this is basically where I started my YouTube channel, on this game. Kind of surprising that I'm actually trying to play it again. But yeah, let's take a look at some of the features in this just for fun. So pretty much everything that they have now, they don't have this, obviously, the World Cup of Hockey 2016 anymore. Be Pro's that same shitty Be Pro that we've had for years before they updated it. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Let's take a look at our custom rosters, because back in these days I did a 2004 roster, if you weren't following the channel at this point in time. And basically I was using overalls from NHL 2004 in it, and I actually didn't create all the players myself. I used actual players that were still in this game. So Danny Heatley and Joe Thornton were actual ones that like, they're actual players still in this game. Like, I didn't create them at all, so their ages are a little inaccurate in this. So my first ever roster build attempt was not great, but it was still a fun one. If we go to this creation zone, one thing I really would like to see them bring back, though, and been mentioning this before, is you can see the create a player counter. They don't have that currently in like NHL 20, 21. I think they got rid of it after 17, which I don't know why they did that, but it would be nice to see how much players you've made and goalies. Let's actually go to create a player for fun. And also, the thing I find with this menu might be a bit faster than it is in NHL 21, which is kind of weird. But as you can see, got a lot of these players in here. This is all their overalls straight from NHL 2004, I'm pretty sure. That's why, like, Anson Carter's in 88. But I didn't have to make every single player. But yeah, back in these days, I was not a great roster builder. Like Aaron Downey, for example, 68 overall, AHL bottom 6 forward. That just seems really weird. But yeah, I did also make my own jerseys in these roster builds back in the day. I'll scroll through this a little bit just to show you guys. One thing I want them to also add is the ability to sort by like alphabetical order from reversed order, so you don't have to scroll all the way to the bottom. That's one thing that they should definitely add, because it's kind of tedious when you make a lot of players. But yeah, a lot of these this roster is just completely weird. Like this, the ages you see in this as well are what the players' ages were back in 2017. So I don't actually have their actual age from 2004. So like Byron Defoe is randomly a 45-year-old player. Chris Chelios is probably like 50 something, or 45 or something too. Let's see. Chris Chelios, yeah, he's 50 years old at this point in time. So like, this roster build was not great, but yeah, it helped start my interest in making custom rosters. I didn't actually mention how I started making custom rosters. So basically, if you remember way back in NHL 17, basically X-Tech was doing, I think it was like, he was doing like season sims with former old teams. Well, I was doing this build around that same time, so I don't know if like I inspired him to do it or what, but he ended up doing seasons with just one team and just seeing if they'd go on to win the Stanley Cup. Well, eventually I took that idea and made it into just the Stanley Cup Finals rematch, which, if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know that I take the two teams from anywhere in history and play them against each other. Like Montreal and LA from the 1993 Stanley Cup Finals, I do that type of thing. So yeah, basically I got the idea from that, and then afterwards I advanced it into full-on roster builds, which you would have seen back in NHL 19 when I did my 99 roster build, and NHL 20 with my 94 one, and then this one I'm doing a 2003 one in NHL 21. But yeah, that's basically how this idea started. This roster build at first, though, like I said, like my first build of a roster not great because I went off of NHL 2004 overalls. I did know players pretty well, like as you can see, like Hordichuk and Enforcer. Like a lot of the player types are actually pretty accurate, but when it comes down to like potential and the ages and stuff like that, nothing's really accurate. So still kind of a cool iteration there. And also, Create a Team was actually new for NHL 17. That's probably why I liked NHL 17 the best on current gen consoles. Well, I should say old gen now, I guess, because Series X and stuff comes out soon. But as you can see, I did make jerseys and stuff for every team back in this build. And a lot of the jerseys I actually still kind of make for teams. Like if we go to edit the Ducks, I think I used a bit of a different jersey. Man, this menu looks so weird. But literally the creation suite has not changed at all almost since this day, which is kind of crazy. Like I definitely want to point out to EA that they should be upgrading this a lot, because there's like it's literally the exact same thing nowadays. Like where you have like the zone colors and whatnot. Like I think they actually did add a lot of decent logos recently, but yeah, back in this you had like NHL logos as normal. You had some vintage logos, not a lot. They've added some over the years. Custom logo wise, they have the same logos that they've always had, but they did add a lot more. I think it was in NHL 19, because they only had 63 at this point. And then the fonts have always been the same, except for actually in NHL 21 they did change it a bit, because they added like borders around them. So yeah, anyways, let's show some of my jerseys just for fun, just for a little bit of a different thing. So yeah, as you can see, I wasn't great back in these days at creating jerseys, but this is basically where I learned to start making jerseys and making them as accurate as they are now. And then yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, I think the creation suite definitely needs an upgrade, because it's been pretty much the same thing since NHL 17. So that's my suggestion to EA for NHL 22, is to upgrade this a lot, and then I obviously add roster sharing. Let's take a look at my Thrashers jerseys from these days. I don't remember what they look like. Okay, so they look kind of similar to what I have now. They don't look too bad. And an alternate should be the blue yet. Huh. I did add alternates that actually weren't in 2004, I think, is in this build as well. And then I also might have made some custom alternates, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I made a custom alternate for Detroit. It's been a long time since I've looked over all this stuff, so don't really remember. Let's see. So these don't even look like Detroit jerseys. These look more like Winter Classic jerseys. So yeah, I was not great at roster building this time, but basically I'm just showing you guys how I learned to be a good roster builder. But yeah, hopefully they add roster sharing eventually, so then eventually you guys could play builds like the one I'm currently working on for NHL 21. Let's actually go to the Rangers jerseys for fun, because they have the nice Lady Liberties. I'm pretty sure those ones were my favorite jerseys I made back in this day. Let's see. So we got these Rangers jerseys, which don't really look accurate. Oh yeah, that one, yeah. This is still one of my favorite jerseys. I did a pretty good job at designing that one. Okay, so do I want to show anything else roster-wise? I don't think so. But yeah, this build was a lot of fun when I did it way back in the day. Like I even did the all-star teams, as you can see. Like I actually had a series planned out where I was going to show all the rosters and then also do like simulations and stuff like that, like playoff simulations, all-star game sims, but I never ended up doing it. But yeah, it's kind of fun. I actually should show you guys maybe the all-star jerseys, because why not? And then I'll show you guys some stuff with like franchise mode in my hut team from back in this day, because if you watched my channel back in these days, I actually did do hut videos, and it was more pack openings. And yeah, I don't really do that much anymore, but yeah, that's basically what I did back in NHL 17. Like I think I actually even gave away a few cards and stuff like that back in those days, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I had like a Pasternak like team of the week or something that I got rid of. Okay, let's go over to HUD first, and then we'll take maybe a look at our old franchise mode, because I think I ended up playing some more of the Islanders franchise mode after the series ended. The Vancouver one I didn't, though. If you guys even watched those series, you probably don't even remember any of this stuff, but it's just cool to look back on. So like if we look at Hockey Ultimate Team from back in 2017. Looks pretty bare. Like, I kind of like the design of the menus in this, but I do like NHL 21's better. But let's take a look at our lineup, see what we actually had back in these days for fun. So we had Busick, Bergeron, and Tarasenko. Yeah, I had Team of the Year Tarasenko because I think they gave away him. And then Bergeron, did I pack Bergeron? I don't remember. I think I packed Busick. Line was a giveaway, and then also they had a Christmas event back in this day. I got Mike Richards, Paul Bissonnette. This was my first big poll on YouTube. I think I posted that like way back in September 2016. Was this Pavel Bure. And then also nice Joe Sakic that I think I packed. Goudreau, Sagan, Matthews. I think they gave that one away. And Lupul. So pretty interesting forward core. And in defense, couple veterans and legends too. Yeah, Ristolainen that I got from the Christmas event. And then, what was it, goalie-wise? Oh yeah, Carey Price and Pekka Rinne. Yeah, I had a pretty solid team from back in these days, but I did spend a lot more money than I do now, because HUD isn't really as interesting. Like, this is the last time I actually took HUD seriously. I'm not really much interested in it now. Like, I do still go on it in NHL 21, but nowhere near as much as I used to. I don't think they have, like, the marketplace active anymore, right? Like, if I go to sell... I don't think there's any active auctions probably on the marketplace, because I don't think anybody, like, I think they took down the servers probably for this game, right? If there's people that actually have auctions up, yeah, there's... No, that's my active auctions. Wait, I should... How do I check what's out there? Yeah, this menus are kind of slow. Let's buy... And let's just see if there's anybody actually listing stuff in NHL 17 for fun. I don't think so though, right? Oh, there actually is people still listing stuff. So shout out to Buddy5 and Ontari. A couple of these other dudes listing some like Yule Levies and whatnot. It's funny. I didn't actually expect people to still be playing NHL 17, but I guess some people are. But that's literally all the auctions that are out there. 38 auctions. So yeah, shout out to those people that are actually still playing NHL 17 in 2020. Okay, so final thing I want to do for this video is I just want to take a look at maybe some of the stuff in franchise mode, in my old franchise mode. Because franchise mode has changed a lot. Like, I know a lot of you guys say EA hasn't really done much at all this generation, but they actually have. In terms of like Beer Pros now got a decent upgrade. Franchise mode's had a lot of changes since NHL 17. And then created team wise, nothing's changed. HUT has had a lot of changes. There definitely has been some good upgrades. And I think NHL 21 is the best game on current generation. NHL 17 was my favorite at one point, but I think NHL 21 is the best now. But it does definitely need a lot of work in terms of bugs. Like, at least the franchise mode works in this one. Because, let's see, we got our Vancouver Canucks franchise mode, which was our last series on NHL 17. We have an Ottawa Senators one, which I actually was doing for YouTube. And it was like a hockey card one where I was basing it off of like my team off of hockey cards, but I ended up enlisting those videos and never doing that series. Let's take a look here. So we got a Vancouver Canucks one from February 1st, 2017. So that actually might be the day I started the Vancouver series, which is pretty intense. But we'll go to the last one just for fun. Just because I don't want to go back all the way to the beginning one and then like end up losing save stuff. Remote cannot be saved because you reached the number of saves. Yeah, it'll continue without saving, I know. So yeah, the franchise mode's changed quite a bit. Let's see, what do we got here? Like, there's no pin tabs. There's literally only like a couple tabs on this. I can't actually go and look at the trades, unfortunately, but I can look at player stats, I think, for our team from back in this day for fun. Like, I think the points were a little bit weird in these days, if I'm not mistaken. And you did have, like, AHL top 6 forwards getting into the NHL. Like, this was our last team that we had in NHL 17. We actually won a couple cups with this team, and like, this guy was a high HL top 6 forward, but he's an 82. Like, back in this day, like 82s were like 81, 82 were like fourth liners. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, third line checking forward, third line checking forward. Yeah, but it's still funny seeing like a high HL top 6 get in. Like, this guy actually simulated pretty decently, if I'm not mistaken, for me. Yeah, he had like 30 something points for a high HL top 6, which is pretty good. But yeah, it's just kind of crazy how franchise modes changed. Like, this guy, I ended up playing him in the NHL even though he was in AHL bottom 6, because eventually he ended up dropping off quite a bit, but he was with us for a long time. And then I think, let me actually check. There was goalies back in this day that actually went first overall in the draft, which is kind of crazy. Like, see, top 10 for Chad Olsen. I don't know if there's a goalie on any team that went first overall, but I'm pretty sure goalies used to go like top 5, which is kind of crazy, because that doesn't happen anymore. Like, there's random goalies though that make it that are in 7th round too. Like, these guys are more AHL goalies, but still. NHL 17 had some fun stuff with the franchise mode. Like, I'd like to see goalies go first overall again, but I don't think it's really realistic. But maybe once in like a blue moon, that would be kind of cool if that happened, like in a future NHL game. Let's see, is there going to be any first overall goalies? Oh, there's a 4th overall goalie, Harry McDonald. Don't remember this guy at all, to be honest. But yeah, goalies went super high up. And scouting was a lot harder back in these days, because it just, you weren't able to scout the exact players you wanted, and you kind of had to take a lot of shots in the dark. This guy went first overall. There you go, there's one. Stéphane Guérin, high elite goalie, first overall in 2037. Let's see how good this goalie was. Also, goalies did simulate a lot better in this game. Like, as you can see, like, this guy had a 231 goals against average. Nowadays, you'd see goalies with like maybe 230s, but sometimes you see goalies that in this game at least that are getting like crazy goals against. Like, this guy had a 2.02 goals against average. You don't see that very often in NHL 21. Oh, I remember Reed Reinprecht, because I'm pretty sure I played the Colorado Avalanche a couple times in the playoffs with the Canucks. Man, this brings back a lot of memories. Maybe not for you guys if you've not been watching my channel that long, but still, it's kind of cool. Colorado actually won the cup in that final season, apparently. Wait, actually, no, I can't check back that far. So yeah, franchise mode definitely has gotten a lot of upgrades since NHL 17, but it's just kind of cool to look back on a lot of this stuff. Like, the morale system works a lot better than it did back in those days too. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this little video. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of my stuff on NHL 17. Kind of take a trip down memory lane, and yeah. Let me know what you guys thought of NHL 17, like how much fun with it did you have. Like, for me, it's probably my second favorite on Xbox One / PS4 era. NHL 21, I'd say, is probably number 1 because they've been adding a lot of stuff to it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.